Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back on TikTok Live. Today's session is going to be a little different. We are going to be doing a mid-month journaling check-in, which I'm really excited about. So I want you guys to take your time, get ready, and make sure that we are all ready for this session together. I'm going to give us just a little bit of time to come in, check with ourselves, and make sure that we are ready for today. This is going to be a beautiful session, a great time to gather yourself, grab a cup of coffee, whatever you might need. Maybe you want a cup of tea or even just some water. And we are going to give us all just a few moments here to settle on in. Welcome to Friday as well, you guys. That's always a good feeling when we make it to Friday. Let's give it just a little bit. I'm excited to do this journaling session with you guys. It's really a great way to wind down for the week, check in with ourselves, and make sure that we are feeling fulfilled. Just going to give us all, again, a few moments. I have here the journal that I currently pinned as well. This is the Tranquil Garden. I also use the tabs to section off my journal. Those tabs are number 5 in your cart, so you'll see here that those are actually separate, but it was a great way to mix up our journaling and try something different. I'm just going to give us all a few moments, let us all settle in, and really get ready for this session. I hope you're all having a beautiful Friday morning. Okay. So I want to welcome you all. Today, we are going to be doing a little mid-month journaling check-in. So we are already halfway through August, if you can believe it or not, and that is the perfect time to pause, reflect, and see how we're feeling. We can look at our goals so we can make any tweaks that we want to, so that way by the end of the month, we can feel even more aligned and more intentional and content. So right now, I want you guys to grab your journal, a pen. It could be a cup of tea, and we are going to have this be a time for calm and intention. So before we start, let's all just take one deep breath together, inhaling, and then a nice deep exhale. I want you all to remember, there's no such thing as being behind in journaling, okay? You are exactly where you need to be right now. And so I am going to open up to this thoughts tab right here, and I'm going to have this be our page of our journaling session. So let me just move that out of the way. I'm going to grab my black Pilot G2 pen, and at the top, I am going to write August mid-month journaling check-in. Okay, so that is how I am going to set up our page for today. Now, the first question I want you to ask yourself, and I might use a sticker for some of these just because I think it's fun and a nice way to elevate your journal, is how am I feeling right now? Because I want you all, we have to start this session off with how are we right now in this moment? This is like taking your emotional temperature. As I'm on here today, I want you guys to all feel comfortable sharing your answers as well. This is about you guys, and it's about reconnecting with how we're feeling. So I'm going to grab this sunflower one, and I'm just going to label it right over here. I'm going to write all of our prompts next to it, or we'll see how this ends up looking. But I want you to ask yourself, how am I feeling right now in one word? How are you all feeling? It could be grounded. Maybe you're feeling a little scattered. You could also be hopeful. You could be proud. There's a lot of different words to describe where we are currently at in our journey. So I'm going to write, how am I feeling right now in one word? that is our question that we are going to start this journaling session off with. And I'm just going to take, actually, I feel like I might take the bike one instead. I don't want you to overcomplicate it. I just want you to check in with yourself right now. What is it that you are feeling? For me, I'm going to write grounded. As we're doing this journaling session, I felt quite at peace and hopeful. So I'm going to stick to the word grounded. Now, this one's a little more fun of a question. So we are going to see, and I might use this one actually. I'm trying to decide if I want to do the question on here or the answer on here. Good morning, Teresa. Welcome to our journaling session. For question number 2, we're going to write it on this one. I like this color scheme that we're sticking to, this light green. Mixing it up a little bit, having a little fun on this journaling session today. Because journaling should be fun. Just like summer should be fun, journaling should be fun. So number 2. This one's, I love this question. If my energy level was a weather forecast, what would it be? You guys, I want you all to let me know in the comments your answers as well. I think that that's such a beautiful way to put it out into the universe. Make sure that we are raising our vibes, shifting it. Hey, Roxy, thank you. Oop, I think, what would it be? What would? And then I'm just going to write my answer right here. This one, you might be like, what does that mean? Well, think of your energy as a weather. Are you rainy? Are you feeling like a thunderstorm? Are you feeling partly cloudy, maybe with a chance of motivation? Or you're sunny but humid, meaning you're good, but you're a little tired, you're heavy. For me today, I'm actually feeling like sunshine. Like I woke up, the sun was shining, everything was good. So I am actually going to be able to answer this honestly as I feel like the sun is out, no rain in the forecast. And these are going to help you understand the way that your energy is affecting your overall being today. Because we have to be able to assess how we are right now in order to make any of those changes that we want to see moving forward. Now, this one is really fun. I love this question because I want you guys to also focus on the positive. Someone on here asked, like, they notice that they really journal during those negative experiences, which I feel like that's the most common practice that's talked about. But I want us to also consider the fact that you can journal the happy moments. So I want you to also do a mid-month check-in and note your highlights of this month. So for question 3, let's ask ourselves, what's been the highlight of our month so far? And I'm going to do this one down. So be honest here. It doesn't have to be this huge thing. It can be those little things because it all comes together to recognize maybe what you should be doing more of. Maybe what really brings you joy. Maybe it's laughter. It could be maybe you went on a picnic with your friends that you hadn't seen in a while and it really brought you so much joy. Or you went on a spontaneous day trip with your family. Or even like you finished a project that you kept putting off. Maybe you just kept putting off organizing the garage and you finally did it. Great. Celebrate that. I'm going to put it in a Polaroid because I feel like that would be the perfect connection point. And I'm going to keep that consistency going with the light green. Good morning, Cindy. And yes, beautiful. We do have to celebrate the small things more often because they add up. Those small things they're not always that small. Like, you know what I mean? We deem them small, but maybe they're bigger than we actually ever realized. So I am going to write here, going to the beach. Going to the beach, walking on the sand, and swimming. You can also tap into a little bit of a deeper reason, and maybe you also add the fact that I'm actually going to just grab a purple pen. I feel like we're going to mix it up here because I want this to be like a little side note. Why did you love it? I was able to really relax. So I'm going to write fully relax, read a good book, and decompress. A much needed little break. We all need them sometimes. And then the next one I want you to ask yourself is also going to be a little heavier. So what's been weighing on you lately? I'm loving using these stickers, so I think we're going to keep going with those. Just because I think it's a fun way to mix up your journaling and really just bring in some personality to it. Let's see. Actually, I have a really cute idea. We're going to take this one because it does match that. I'm going to take, a little binder clip. I'm just going to put that right over there. And we're just going to draw our own little box. I'm just going to use these lines too. But before I write the bottom of it, I'm just going to write in the question just so I can know I have enough space. So this will be our fourth question. What's been weighing on me lately? Or just what's been weighing on me? Because we already know that this is our mid-month check-in, so the lately feels a little redundant. And then we're just gonna, this is just another optional portion of this, just to add in a little personality. You could even grab a little highlighter in my planning pouch here. I'm just gonna do a light gray. Keep it simple. Put that back in there so I don't lose it. An example of this could be, maybe you feel like you are maybe you're falling behind a little bit in your goals. Or maybe you are spending a little bit too much time scrolling at night, not doing enough to recharge you. Check in on how you are spending your time. Maybe there's a conversation that you aren't really happy with the way that it went, and instead of confronting it, you've just been ruminating on it. I think something that's really common for us all is feeling like at night, your evenings, you have these big plans. You're like, I'm going to read, I'm going to have a nice cozy reset, and then you end up scrolling for too long. So maybe that's been weighing on you. Feeling like my evenings are not refueling and recharging me. Actually, I'm going to write and recharging my battery. Because if we start to think of ourselves as like technology, we all need to plug ourselves in sometimes and we need to recharge. Otherwise, we are going to lose that charge, that spark. That's what makes us us. And so at night, that's oftentimes a great time instead of scrolling to do something productive. Not necessarily like a chore or a task. Yes, you do have to do those, but also making time for things that bring you that joy, like reading a book or even gaming if that's something that you love, painting. So instead of relaxing or reading, I go for my phone. Or even if I don't scroll, I'm finding myself, or I'm finding my thoughts a little scattered. And that's okay. But it's important that you do these mid-month check-ins so you can recognize, okay, now that I'm putting this on paper, maybe I can make a change. And so once you have jotted all of those down, I want you to notice if there's a theme. Are your highlights connected to any habits? Notice that reading and decompressing, it comes back up into that fact that maybe I'm not doing that as much as I should be at night. Okay, try to bring that back into it. Are your low points linked to a certain situation, people? Just take a moment to notice your answers, notice those themes. If you notice anything, let me know. Let me know what comes up for you. That's what this session's all about. I want us to feel like we can share these things with each other. Okay? Now, I am also going to grab my planner alongside this. And I want us to also do a little August specific check-in. So August reflection so far as well. So I'm just going to flip to our week, our monthly calendar. And I want to start off with something I'm proud of myself for. So what am I proud of so far this month? Let's take a look. Let's see. So taking a look, our word of the month again is align and elevate. We want to come back to that. So much is going on this month. It's a busy month for us all. August. Hey, Kelly, good morning. I loved this TikTok live, but that one on the Thursday, the 7th. I thought that was a really good one. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. You guys loved our book march. Good morning, April. But maybe you also stuck to your goals. So maybe you've been doing daily gratitude. So let's just dive in. Let's start taking a look at all we've been doing and really taking a moment to recognize, okay, what am I proud of myself for? And I'm going to do this right over here. So question number 5. Do I want this one? What am I proud of myself for so far? Okay, so specifically this month. Let me just write this month in parentheses so that's clear. I want you to also know if it's more than one thing, that's amazing. Don't feel like you have to have it limited to one. I want you to celebrate those victories. So, for example, I stuck to my daily gratitude. And fitness goal. And then number 2, I've been more present. So you see how sometimes just recognizing all those little victories makes you honestly recognize how much progress you are making, those changes that often you don't recognize on a daily basis because we don't take the time to celebrate because we feel like it's something we should be doing or something that feels like, okay, because I should be doing it, I don't get to celebrate the fact that I am doing it. You guys know what I mean. I feel like that resonated with some of you out there. So I want to make sure that you guys are taking a moment. What are you proud of yourself for? And then I also want us to, we are going to start on the next page with the next question. And again, using this session as your mid-month check-in. So grab your planner, do a little review as we are going on here. If you don't have your own journal yet, you can just grab a piece of paper. I'm going to write, let me see. The next question I actually wanted to do is what habits, routines, or mindsets have been slipping? Okay. Not the easiest one to recognize. We're just going to go. So what habits, routines, or mindsets have been slipping? For instance, it could be that you have not been journaling daily, if that was your goal. I think I did this. I think I should have switched. That's okay. If you haven't journaled daily, maybe you've been trying to go for a daily walk, but that just hasn't been fitting into your schedule. You haven't been making time for it. Or you've been going to bed too late. That's a big one. I know that that can be a big problem. So maybe it's going to bed too late. Maybe it's that doom scrolling. I want you to don't be mean to yourself here, but just be honest. What do you guys notice has been slipping for you? It could also be you haven't been as present as you want. I know that was something I was proud of myself for, but maybe you feel like, oh, I've been a little distracted when I get home from work. You're having a hard time decompressing. You've been waking up a little later than you wanted to. Waking up later than intended. That is a big one. Now the reason we also started off with this point of view is because I think it's important to recognize what hasn't been working and then taking a moment to recognize, okay, now that I've done that, let's take a moment to step back and see what is working. So for number 7, I'm going to use a sticker, I think, for the answer portion, but let's ask ourselves what has been working well for us. So on the opposite hand of this, what has been working well? And I'm going to do a pair of boxes here. So the first one I'm going to write in here, and I'll do the second because I want to recognize 2 things that have been going well. Oh, and I just want you guys to know what stickers I am using throughout this one right here. So first I'll do this one. Now I want you to recognize, whereas we already noticed maybe where we're slipping a little bit, let's notice what has been working well. These are going to be things that you want to continue doing as you move forward through your month. You want to keep building on that progress and sticking to those habits. Habits doesn't have to be negative. Habits can be healthy habits, have healthy routines. So for instance, maybe you've been batch cooking a lot, batch cooking every Sunday. You've been able to be more creative and express yourself fully because You've been more present. You felt more like yourself. You started getting back into the swing of things. Like you've stuck to that fitness. You found that, okay, when I go for a walk at the end of work, I'm more consistent than when I do at the beginning of the day because like you've noticed, you're been sleeping in a little bit later than you intended. So you haven't been getting up for those morning walks. Well, on the other side, you've been making up for it by going for a walk after work. So I'm going to have it say one would be going for a post-work walk. What is one thing you guys think has been going well for you this month? I'm going to add those stickers in there. And then, what is one other thing? I want us to focus on two things that we have been doing well. Keeping your phone in another room at night. Having a set time that you put your phone away. I'm assuming if you've been doom scrolling, that's probably not the case. So maybe it's something else. It could be having, what's the way to say it? Having like a positive attitude at work. Instead of focusing on the no, the quick to the no, you've been like, let me take a moment. Let me actually think about this. Thank you, Becky. For me, it's going to bed early and being more consistent with filling in my planner. Wait, I'm so proud of you. That's amazing. That is exactly what we have to keep focusing on, you guys. And you see how now that we notice, okay, this is really working well for me, we can keep that up through the rest of August. We're going to keep that momentum going. We're not just going to stop here because we are knowing that it's already showing a big difference in the way we feel about ourselves and the way that we are waking up every day. I think that is so incredible. Now, before we really dive into the goal check of our reflection of that mid-month check-in, I also want us to wrap up this portion with this one last question here. And that is, what is one thing I've learned about myself in the past 2 weeks? What's one thing I've learned about myself? And I chose the past 2 weeks just because this is a mid-month check-in. So we want to make sure that we are taking the time to look back specifically on August. This could be something like, for instance, maybe you ask yourself, okay, what is it that has led me to going to bed earlier? Is there something that you were doing differently before that you've learned about yourself that doesn't work for you? Maybe you've learned that being consistent with your planner actually keeps you more motivated to reaching your goals. Maybe you found that you actually get a lot of energy when you're spending time with other people. Maybe you thought that you were really introverted, but it turns out maybe you're more extroverted than you ever thought possible. For this, I'm trying to decide what sticker I want to use. I think we're going to go with a little bit of a smaller one, and we might do 2. So, oh, well, I said one thing, so I guess we're just going to do one thing. I forgot. That was not straight. That's okay. What is one thing you've learned about yourself in the past 2 weeks? Are you more productive when you keep your phone on Do Not Disturb? Or that there's certain people that just really drain your energy? I would say I sleep better when I'm active, which might sound obvious, but I think for some of us, we don't quite realize the importance until we really are consistent with it. Now, this right here, this is actually where we start to see that connection between our actions and how we feel. And what the good news is that we can always be shifting our actions. We can align them more with how we want our life to look. And so the next step of this is going to be a goal check-in. Now, I am going through a lot of prompts here because I really want this to be that full in-depth journaling session that would walk you through, okay, these are an amazing set of prompts, but I also want you to know that you can pick and choose which prompts that you feel will benefit you most. I am going above and beyond today because I want you guys to make sure that you have enough prompts to choose from. But if you find that maybe you want to pull 2 from each part of this workshop today, that's okay. Don't feel like you have to specifically write out every number, specifically write out every prompt. This could also look like a 1-page entry that you're really reflecting on. Look at these prompts as a way to start generating that thought process. Okay? So the next thing that we're going to do is taking a look back at our August goals. So I'm going to grab our defined planner here. And I'm going to flip back to our monthly calendar. And so here, you are going to notice that we actually focused on health and wellness. And we really focused on building habits that support peace and presence. At least that was our goal. And our monthly action item was to develop a consistent mindfulness routine. So that was our monthly goal, develop a consistent mindfulness routine. The reason that it's important to take a look is to notice, first of all, do these goals feel on track? So I wanted to start specifically with our August goals because that is what this check-in is all about. So do you feel, ask yourself, whatever your monthly action item is, do you feel like you are on track with this goal? Develop a consistent mindfulness routine. So let's do this. I'm going to separate this out for you guys just to give us all that clarity, because this right here, this is going to be really shifting our gears now to a goal check-in. So goal check-ins and adjustments. So we're going to start back at, let's say this is number 1. Which goals feel on track? Because some of you guys might have set, the reason I worded it like that was because you can actually set more than one goal. So in this case, I did set 1. So you might be like, why is she saying which goals? It's because a lot of times people will set more than one umbrella goal a month. And that's totally okay. In this instance, I really set 1 umbrella goal to focus on. So this is our long-term goal, something that's going to take longer than just 1 month to accomplish. So we want to build habits that support peace and presence. So in my case, I'm going to write which goal feels on track. And I want to specifically note the fact that I focused on, let me flip back one more time so I can get that exact wording. You guys can see that right up here, on build habits that support peace and presence. What this is also going to allow us to do is, as we continue, because if you do a mid-month check-in, you also will do an end of the month check-in. Continue this, and you'll be able to flip back and notice, oh wow, I was feeling like, oof, I was not sticking to my goal that month. But look at me now. Look at that progress I've made. So that is ultimately why the journaling aspect and those check-ins are so important. It's to really get that visualization of your progress so you can keep moving forward, keep moving in the direction of your goals. So, which goal feels on track? Again, if you focused on more than one, maybe you do a little assessment on both. Good morning, Maria. In our case, we really focused on building those habits that support peace and presence. This goal feels on track. But let's take it one step further. Why does it feel on track? Well, it feels on track because my monthly action item was develop a consistent mindfulness routine. And I feel like I'm noticing a big difference in my mindset. I'm trying new techniques. And already notice a difference. Maria, I love that. Maria said, I used my PTO and stayed at home. I needed to rest. That's amazing. A journaling session is honestly one of my favorite ways to reset and get that little mental health check-in that we all need. Now, the other thing I want us to do is if you had set 2 goals and maybe one doesn't feel as on track, I want you to take the moment and just ask yourself what is something that you can do this week toward a goal that feels behind. In this instance, we do feel like we are on track with our goals, so we're going to reframe that question to fit our specific situation, which is, what can I continue to do this week or the rest of this August, What can I continue to do in August to keep the momentum I have, or to keep the momentum going? This one, I'm feeling like we could find a way to work a sticker in there just because I love using these to journal. I just think it's such a fun way to level up your experience. And so I want you guys to see, okay, now that we notice what's worked, that we are doing a really good job with our goal. And again, if you can always put this into the other perspective, if you've noticed yourself falling behind on anything, you can always ask yourself, okay, what can I do to get back on track? In this case, I want us to really keep going with, first of all, I think a big thing that worked well was being more aware of our thoughts. We're being more intentional with our thoughts. Affirmations have been a big thing. And then the second thing that we could do is I'm going to put it over here and just go. I want to also, I have been finding that I've been listening to a lot more podcasts or different just like audio type of things rather than just putting on music during a walk. I've been listening to a podcast and I have found that has been really powerful for me. Even if it's just like a silly little podcast, It gets me out of my own head and gets me thinking differently. So I want to keep listening to podcasts because I've gotten into them lately. Okay? And then we're going to flip the page. And I want us all to take a look now that we've done, with this goal check-in, I like to keep it a little more straightforward because we all have such a different way of our goals. We have a lot of reflections always with our goals. And it's important that we keep our mid-month check-in a little more straightforward. So I believe that having which goals feel on track based off of however many you set. If you don't feel on track with your goals, you can take a moment to say, okay, this is what I want to do differently in August to build more momentum. In our case, I also wanted to recognize what can I continue to do to keep the momentum going. And now I want us to all recommit and set our intentions for moving forward. Because I want you to remember that adjusting your goals, adjusting the way you are approaching them, it doesn't mean that you are failing at all. I think a lot of the times we think, oh, if I have to change my goal, that means I'm failing. No, it's creating a plan that fits your real life right now. That is what it's about. So it's important now that we recommit and set some intentions for the rest of August. So I want us to do, I'm going to label this August recommitment and intention setting. That is going to be what we focus on moving forward. So we have to decide, how do we want the rest of August to go? How do we want it to feel? Come back to that feeling. And I also want you guys to know that this is the fun part. This is your reset time. This is your you time. You get to shift your energy and you get to say, you know what? I'm ready to move on from what's happened and I'm ready to move forward. So I want you to start by asking yourself, what is my top priority for the rest of the month? What is my top priority for the rest of August? I want you all to write in the comments right now. It could be protecting your mornings for creativity. It could be making sure you move your body every day. It could be trying to focus on gratitude more often. There are so many different ways that we can set an intention. It doesn't have to, or that priority. It doesn't necessarily have to be submitting your proposal by the end of the month. It can be. That can be a great thing if that is it. I also recommend having something to do with a little more personally because I think that those are going to help balance each other out. I also wanted to find another sticker. I'm loving the sticker situation that we're doing. So let's use this one. We are going to put it right over here. Let's have it be focus on creativity and positivity. Just a little heart. I don't know. I love a heart. I think it just always feels good. So that is going to be whatever your top priority that you want to set for the next 2 weeks of August. The next thing I want is by the end of August, I want to feel ... Because you notice how the reason I'm having us do it this way is because we started this one off with, how am I feeling right now? We are feeling, in one word, grounded. So how do we want to feel when we do our monthly reflection? What is it that you want to be feeling then? Because then you can take a look back and say, oh, I wanted to feel this way, and I either do or maybe you don't. And that's okay. We just want to be aware. And again, I'm going to use another sticker because this is honestly my favorite. I love using these. And I'm going to use the sunflower one. It's actually that same one that we used, only a different color. I want to feel accomplished. That is how I want you to feel. Okay? Or whatever word you choose. Because then we are going to choose one word or mantra to guide the rest of our month. It could be an affirmation. It could be one word. It could be many words. There's no right answer to this. It could be flow, consistency, slow and steady. It could be I feel loved and supported. I trust myself to make decisions that align with my values and goals. There's a lot of different ways that you can write or choose how you want this rest of this month to go. Like, there's so many different options here. I just wanted to pull from one of our sticker sheets. I think that these would be, there's so many here, we might as well utilize it. I think a beautiful one, actually. If we don't want to do an affirmation, another one could be believe in yourself. I think that that might be exactly what we all need to take with us today. There's so many different options. I can achieve whatever I set my mind to. That's a good one. That might be it, actually. I think that's going to be it. That's going to be our mantra to guide the rest of August. This is from our affirmation sticker sheets. And I'm going to put this nice and center so we know this is our mantra. I want you to write this everywhere. Write it on a sticky note, put it on your mirror, write it on your planner, look at it every day. This is what I want you to remind yourself of. That right there. The last question that I want us to do is knowing that this is what we want to feel, what we want to accomplish, what do we need to do to get there? So what support, resources, or boundaries do I need to put in place? For boundaries, it could also mean putting a 9 p.m. curfew on your phone. It could also be putting it in a different room when you're asleep. Maybe not that one. That one I couldn't do. But putting do not disturb on except for certain people once it hits a certain time. boundaries don't have to be pushing people away. Boundaries can also be adding a limit to yourself that's going to allow you to grow. So maybe you set that screen time, because I know I keep coming back to that screen time because that was one that we were talking about when we were doing balancing your plate. I believe that I was hearing a lot of everyone struggling with that doom scrolling. And so this is another great way that you can set that boundary. Maybe you really need to communicate more with your family or your friends or your coworkers about what's working, what's not working. You could also have a little daily check-in. That would be a great little self-support system as well. For the last, I might not do a sticker for this last one. I'm going to, let's see, I would say at 9 p.m., put phone on D&D. Except for, because there's always those certain people that you don't want, that if something were to happen, you want to know. I almost just wrote except for certain purple. Let's see. Also, it could be a daily check-in with yourself as well. A little daily morning intention. Okay. That is how we are going to make the necessary changes to really keep moving forward in our lives, to keep growing, and to make sure that the rest of August is what we want it to be, because we don't want to be going through August on autopilot. In this session today, we were able to pause, check in on how we are feeling, and we could recognize our wins and challenges, but also notice some small shifts to help us finish August strong. And you still have 2 weeks to make August exactly how you want it to feel. You don't have to do it all. You just have to do the things that matter most to you. Do one thing differently. I want to thank you all for showing up today, but also I want you guys to thank yourself for showing up for yourself today. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this mid-month check-in. I want you all to make sure that you have your journal with you. Don't lose whatever answers you wrote. So when we do our monthly reflection at the end of the month, we are able to assess any changes that happened and we can see how far we come. Okay? Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I will talk to you guys all in a little bit. Until then, keep navigating each day with purpose. Bye, you guys.